So, dear students, I welcome all of you to another session of transportation engineering. We have been discussing about the important aspects of the transportation engineering, and in this session, what we are going to cover is we are going to cover various topics such as Railway Board, then Inland Waterways Authority of India, then Airport Authorities of India. These are the topics that we are going to cover. Let us first learn about the Railway Board. See, the screen that you are able to view on your particular what I can say video or on the screen is the home page of the Indian Railway website. You can observe that Bharatiya Rail is what written over here, Indian Rail's lifeline to the nation, and various kind of tabs are there, pages are there, such as about Indian Railways, then for IR personal, then passenger information, freight information, news and recruitment, tenders, etc. So this is how the homepage of Railway Board looks like. If you go to the website. Now, if you click on the page, these are the links that you will be able to observe. Links such as COVID-19 preparations or preparedness, then Rail Sampark is there, then Indian Railway GST is there, then what I can say, Nivaran means the online grievance redress system is there. Then the another page is about important informations and another is about quick links. With the help of these quick links, you will be able to solve your purpose directly. Now, why I am showing this thing? Because whenever we are discussing about railway board, we need to have the basic understanding about how railway board works, what is the role of railway board, then what is the corporate culture of railway board, how its website looks like. These are the basic information. Then these are the various kind of zones of Indian railways. Some of the logos shows that Southeastern Railway is there, then Southwestern Railway is there. Southern Railway is there, West Central Railway is there, Western Railway is there, Metro Railway Kolkata is there, and nowadays in for our Gujarat, Metro Rail of Ahmedabad is also there. So these are the various kind of sections or zones of the Indian railways. If you go to Mumbai, then you will be able, or if you go to any of the railway stations of Gujarat, you will be able to view Paschim Railway, that is Western Railway. This logo you will be able to see. Now let us learn about the evolution. Evolution means the development, how it was started. The first railway on the Indian subcontinent ran over the stretch of 21 miles, that is about 35 to 36 kilometers. It was from the Bombay to Thane. I have already discussed this thing, but I haven't discussed that the idea of a railway to connect Bombay to Thane was first occurred to Mr. George Clark, the chief engineer of Bombay government, during the visit to Balu in 1843. The formal inauguration ceremony was performed on 16th April 1853 when 14 railway carriages on 16th April 1853, 14 railway carriages carrying about 400 guests left Borivandar at 3:30 p.m. This is the exact information. You might never have come across this information. The first passenger train steamed out of Howrah station. This is the first steam railway. First passenger steam railway from Howrah station, and the destination was Hooghly. The distance was 24 miles on 15th August 1854, and thus the first section of the East Indian Railway was open to the public traffic through this eastern side of subcontinent. If we talk about the South continent, then in the South, the first line was opened by 1st July 1856 in South by the Madras Railway Company. It ran between it ran between what I can say Vyas to Arcot, and the distance was about 63 miles. The names are quite tricky. The north length was about 119 miles that led from Allahabad to Kanpur. So this is the evolution of Indian Railway from west, east, south and north. Year wise and date wise we have learned. Okay. Now let us learn about the history. So let us do one thing. Let us discuss about the history. Okay, in 1901, on the recommendations of Sir Thomas Robertson Committee, these are the details for your information. You do not need to mark up. Just understand it as a story that in 1901, on the recommendations of Sir Robertson Committee regarding the administration and working of the railways, an early version of the railway board was constituted. So, the early version of railway board was constituted by Sir Thomas Robertson Committee. It initially had three members. So there were three members initially. This point. Then in 1905, its powers were organized by Lord Curzon's government. Then in 1921, a reorganization of the railway board was carried out. So in 1921, a reorganization was carried out of this railway board and the chief commissioner of the railway was appointed. This chief engineer of the railways or the chief commissioner of the railway, he was solely responsible to the government for all the decisions on technical matters and for advising the government on the matters of policy. So there was a key role of this chief commissioner. Pursuant to the Accords Committee, recommendation in 1921, the railway board was also reconstituted with the effect from 1st April 1924. And from that day to this day, on 24th December 2019, 2019, the Union Cabinet decided to reduce the size of the board. First it was 8, now the number of the United particular this cabinet is reduced to the 5. And it was also decided to merge its different cadres into a single railway management service. Now, the new constituted board will have the members for operation, business development, human resources, infrastructure, and finance. So, five departments are there and five members will be there as per the new policy. If let us learn the interesting facts about Indian Railways, that Indian Railways is the premier transport organization of the country. It is the largest rail network in Asia and world's second largest under one management. So Asia's largest and world's second largest. It runs around 11,000 trains every day. Over 7,000 passengers trains are there. See, these are the old data, but these are what I can say authorized data. Indian Railway is a multi-gauge multiplexing system which is having this kind of gauge system. We will learn all these gauges in detail in our railway transportation segment, but you can have a glimpse of this actual details. If we learn about the corporate overview, then nowadays, the Ministry for Railways is handled by Mr. Piyush Goyal and Ministry for State for Railways is handled by Sri Suresh Channabasma. This is how it works, Ministry of Railways. It is having two hierarchical things. First is Ministry of State of Railways and second is Ministry of State of Railways. See, this is railway board, this is the chairman of railway board, then comes the member of traffic, member of staff, member of engineering, member of section, member of rolling stock, and financial commissioner is there. Then the member of traffic is further highlighted in the director of general staff, and this is how the further secretariat hierarchical system works out. And then four units are there, zonal railways that include central, eastern, southern, eastern coast, metro, northern, northern, eastern, northern, frontier, all these kinds of railways are there. These are the zonal parts. Then comes the production units that include the general managers of various departments. Then comes the other units that include general managers, and then comes the corporate staff. So this is it. Now let us discuss about Indian Waterways Authority of India, that is also called as IWAI. See, if we discuss about IWAI, then Inland Waterways Authority of India, it is also called as Bharatiya Antardeshiya Jalmarg Pradhikaran. Antardeshiya means inland means it is situated, its operation is limited to the internal part of the country. It was created by Government of India on 27th October 1986. This can be one of the questions, so you have to have the knowledge about this. and it was created for the development and regulation of inland waterways for shipping and navigation. This authority primarily undertakes the projects for development and maintenance of inland waterways, terminal infrastructure on national waterways through grant which is received from Ministry of Shipping, Road Transport and Highways. Head office of IWI, that means Indian Waterways Authority of India, is situated at Noida, near Delhi. If we discuss about the classifications and standards, then it is divided into seven classifications and these are various kind of standards. Class 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. You do not need to memorize, don't need to mark up. This is just for your information. If we learn about the budget, then till the end of 2010, officially, the amount of 1,117 crore means 160 million US dollar was spent on inland waterways of India. So you can see how giant the handling of RWA can be. And currently, Amitabh Prasad is the current chairman of authority. Let us discuss about water transport in India. That water transport in India has played an important role in the country's economy and it has the largest carrying capacity of any form of transport and is most suitable for carrying the bulky loads goods over the long distances because they can be very much bulky, they can be very much costly and time consuming if we use another mode of transport. It is one of the most cheapest mode of transport in India if long travel is concerned. It takes advantage of natural track as we do not need to make an artificial river. It takes advantage of natural track and does not require huge capital investment for the construction and maintenance of that track because we do not need to maintain the river way. Except if artificial canals are there, then we need to maintain the canal that is also called as channel. Its fuel efficiency contributes to the lower operating cost. See, and environmental impacts are also reduced. India is having 4,500 kilometers of inland waterways, that is a huge number, out of which only 5,685 are navigable by mechanized vessels. IWEI aims to raise the India's 111 national waterways, which is having current capacity of 15 MT, and it will be increased. It is targeted to increase up to 100 metric ton by the end of financial year 2021-22, which is the next year itself. Then comes the Airport Authority of India. If you learn about Airport Authority of India, then Airport Authority of India is also called as AAI. It is one of the statutory body which was created through the Airport Authority of India Act 1994. It is working under Ministry of Civil Aviation, Government of India. It is responsible for creating, upgrading, maintaining, and managing civil aviation infrastructure in India. We have already discussed that it provides communication, navigation, surveillance, and also ATM services, means air traffic control, ATC, and air traffic management over Indian airspace and adjoining portion areas. With the mission to be foundation of enduring Indian aviation network, providing high quality, safe, and customer oriented provision of air navigation is the major motto. These are old data, it may be increased, but these are authentic data for language based data because it is better to rely on authentic data. AI has also ground installation of more airports and 25 other locations to ensure the safety of aircraft of operations. If we discuss about history, then the government of India constituted International Airports Authority of India (IAAI) in 1972, and the motive was to manage the nation's international airports, while the National Airport Authority (NAA) was constituted in 1986 to look after the domestic airports. See, there are two agencies: IAAI, that means International Airport Authority of India, that was established in 1972 to manage the international airports of nation, and NAA, that stands for National Airport Authority, that was constituted in 1986 and it was used to look after the domestic airports. Major ongoing projects, these are the major ongoing projects such as Gagan and GPS are also being implemented. The implementation of Atomic Dependent Surveillance System, ADSS in Kolkata, and Chennai Air Traffic Control Center. So these are the major ongoing projects. If we learn about the organizational structure, that then AAI is having the corporate headquarters in Rajiv Gandhi Bhavan, New Delhi. It is operating from its five regional headquarters, namely Eastern Regional Headquarters, that is on the eastern part of India in Kolkata, Western Regional Headquarters at Mumbai, Northern Headquarters at Delhi, Southern Regional Headquarters at Chennai, and Northern Eastern Regional Headquarters at Guwahati. See here. So this is all about various kind of authorities. I hope you have understood the concept clearly. Thank you.